Second review tonight. I just reviewed a Black Phoenix fragrance and it was kind of short and sweet, and the fragrance was sweet as well, so I thought I'd do another one. This time I'm reviewing Wonderstruck Enchanted. I actually think it's called Enchanted Wonderstruck. That's the way it's written anyway on the packaging and everywhere I've seen it, so I think it's just easier to say Wonderstruck Enchanted. This is by Taylor Swift. It's her second fragrance. She's now released a third. I think it's just called Taylor Swift. It's moved away from the whole Wonderstruck thing. I think Wonderstruck's a really cool name for a fragrance. It's kind of conjures up a lot of different images. It could be a lot of things. I wasn't really too impressed with Wonderstruck, I must admit. I did find it kind of generic. Sorry to all of the Taylor Swift fans that might be watching this. But when I saw this one, I must admit I'm a sucker for packaging. I really liked the way it looked. I liked the bottle. I thought, oh gosh, that's really nice. That would look really nice on my shelf. And then when I read the description, I saw that it was this kind of berry-ish kind of smell. I was sold. I'm a real sucker for things that have berries in it. If I'm going to go for any kind of fruity fragrance, I normally go for ones that have berries in it. I don't know why, I just like the whole thing. Especially if it's like forest berries, that's even better. But yeah, this came out in 2011. It's supposed to be an oriental vanilla. I would probably call it more a fruity vanilla. That's not really a classification. It's more like floral fruity vanilla. A very typical category of fragrance that celebrities seem to go for. I think they're just kind of more crowd pleasing than anything else. I think they're going to sell more, and especially to fans of pop stars. I don't know why, that's really a general thing to say, but it must be true if all of these celebrities are releasing floral fruity fragrances all the time. It's a nice thing to smell. Fruity fragrances smell nice, you know. You're not going to risk releasing something that's really deep and smoky that people are just going to go, oh, I don't like that. So anyway, I bought it blindly as well. I'd never smelled it before I bought it, and I like it, so it's cool. So here's the packaging. It's undeniably, I think it's real beautiful packaging. If I was going to release a fragrance, I'd go for something like this. It's really detailed. It's got swirly things all over it. It's kind of shiny and shimmery. It's got the horrible ingredients there, chemicals. I wouldn't really look at those. Flammable, be careful, alcohol, made in the USA. Yeah, it's lovely. It's got gold and red designs all over it. It looks a little bit like wallpaper, I think. Enchanted Wonderstruck, Taylor Swift. Mine's a 100ml bottle and it's an eau de parfum. I will say, a lot of celebrities are releasing fragrances that are supposed to be eau de parfum. Eau de parfum is supposed to be quite a high concentration of perfume, much more than eau de toilette. I don't know if I believe that a lot of the time with these celebrity fragrances. I'm not sure if that's just something to make you buy it, but anyway. And then the back, there she is in all her glory, sitting on a nice big opulent chair next to the bottle. I also think about celebrity fragrances, why do they always have to have their face plastered on the bottle? I mean, on box, sorry. I know they're kind of trying to build up a brand, but if the fragrance is that good, it will sell on its own. That's what I think. But I do understand why they do it, I guess. You know, if you didn't know who it was, you do now. But yeah, it's really lovely. It's a lovely packaging. Bottle, love it. It's so nice. It's let me just spread the little thingy-mabobs out. So it's like this. The whole bottle's got a kind of pearlescent look to it, kind of like petrol. When you see it in the light, it shimmers. You've got 4 little charms on there. You've got bird, a little teardrop crystal thing, a feather, and then a rose with a little stone in the middle and a little pink blobby thing hanging off of it. From the back, I mean, the bird looks kind of a little bit cheap. It's not a solid thing, but you know, I don't expect gold and diamonds on a perfume bottle if I'm paying the price I paid. The lid's incredibly detailed. It is plastic, but it's got really nice detailing on it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it in this light, but it kind of follows the theme of this swirly gold stuff. So that's the bottle. Yeah, it's lovely. It's really nice, deep red colour. It's very attractive, and I'm a bit of a magpie. That's probably why I bought it, and the fact that it's got berries in it. So onto the fragrance itself. As usual, if you haven't seen a review of mine before, I'll always go through the notes. I like to talk quite in depth about how something smells to try and kind of portray, I guess, what it's like. So the top notes of this fragrance, you've got passion fruit, yummy, lovely, really strong, exotic kind of tropical fruit. Then you've got poppy. I must admit, I've never seen poppy or heard of poppy in a fragrance before, and I don't know much about it. I've tried to look it up. There's not much about what it actually smells like, but from what I found, it's a very nondescript flowery fragrance, somewhere between earthy and floral. So even though that's in it, I would probably ignore that because this hasn't got a tinge of earthiness to it at all. And then you've got wild berries. Doesn't say which, but from what I can smell, it's more on the kind of raspberry / blackberry kind of feel. Then the heart notes, you've got sugar. Everyone knows what sugar is. Freesia, which is a very fresh, effervescent kind of flower. It's beautiful on its own. Champaka, which is another beautiful flower. It kind of smells like tea, and I think a little bit incensey as well. And then peony. Peony is somewhat like rose, but I think a lot more rich, and it's also very, very sweet as well. And then the base is quite basic and typical of a celebrity fragrance. It's vanilla. Woody notes to give, you know, a kind of depth and exoticness, I guess, and then musk. So on paper, it's, you know, it sounds really interesting. I'm not saying it's not an interesting fragrance, but it sounds like it's going to be, to me, a lot more interesting than it actually is. So here it is. I've had it drying here. I'm going to spray it wet on this side just so I can get the feel for it again. I must say, it does travel through the air quite a lot. When this came to, it arrived at work and I got it and I sprayed it on my hand once. A few people over the way that don't sit that near me, somebody said, "Oh, somebody eating strawberries," which I thought was pretty cool. If it can go that far, that quick, then that's a good sign. You want to buy a fragrance and you want it to last. You know, you don't want to be sitting there respraying it all the time, even though I do that anyway. But never mind. So this, yeah, you know, of course it's going to be really pleasant. Look at the stuff that's in it. You've got real gorgeous berries and passion fruit. Lovely. The berries kind of dominate more than the passion fruit, which is really nice. It does smell kind of red and sweet and girly. But you've got underneath, straight away, it's got this real muskiness, this real kind of fuzzy vanilla. So you've got the berries and fruit on the top, and then when you smell a bit deeper, it smells, like I said, kind of fuzzy. I'm going to say dusky as well, because I just did a review a second ago, and it's a really good word to describe a fragrance. Sometimes something can smell dusky, a little bit like dusty, but not. And this has got that. It's not overly sweet. It is sweet, but it's not the likes of, you know, Britney's Fantasy, where it's really sugary vanilla sweet. This kind of holds a little bit of tart berries, I guess. Berries are quite sharp, aren't they? And it does hold a little bit of that. What I'll say about the flowers in this, Champaka, Freesia, fresh flowers there, and kind of like tea, like I said Champaka is. When I smell it here, there is something else going on in it. There is something really nice, but when you smell it from a distance, or if you go like that and you waft it, it seems to meld into like a lot of other things. It does smell kind of familiar and like a very easygoing berry vanilla. It loses a lot of any complexity that it had. I'm not saying it's really complex here anyway, but it just kind of melds into this haze of sweet vanilla berries over here in the air. But when you smell it close up, which a lot of people won't be unless they're your boyfriend or girlfriend. There is something quite nice and floral going on when I smell it here, but yeah, it gets lost over here. So if only that bit of it would project a little bit further out, that I think it would be a lot more interesting than it is for a celebrity fragrance. Celebrity fragrances get quite a bad rap in the perfume world for being this typical sweet, fruity, floral. This is one of the better ones, I would say, so I would say well done, Taylor. The first one was, I think, very, very generic and kind of boring, but this one's better. I like it. The lasting power on me is probably about 5 hours, but when it dries you lose a lot of the berries, and as you would expect, the base just turns into a kind of sweet, musky, somewhat fruity smell. That's very generic for me to say that. It's very broad, but it's not, as I said, it's not very complex. So that's it really. I think, you know, red berries, sweetness, vanilla, a certain amount of floral, and quite a bit of strength. It's quite cool. So thanks for watching. My next review is going to be the complete opposite of this. I'm reviewing a niche brand fragrance by Frappin, or Frappan. It's kind of a wintry, spicy, woody fragrance for men, so opposite end of the scale. I'll see you guys soon for another review, and as always, if you want to subscribe, I would appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.